this is, well, actually, that's getting back to what I was saying to the Beck tonight. I made some comment to do with politics, and the Beck just threw a mental.
He thought you were a commo, did he?
They were talking about tax, and I only came on to find out whether the Bez was going to be home. And I just put in my bit.
Is this on Channel Del?
Yeah, I put in my bit and sort of went away again. But then they kept talking about it, and Beatty Man was saying he couldn't work out why they couldn't allow transport to and from work as being a deduction, because it says travelling expenses.
It should be a deduction.
And apparently it's not, because the AGAR knows a tax consultant, and it turned out that they only, when they say transportation to do with work, they only mean to do with work, like during working hours when you're going out on jobs, apparently. Anyway, I put in the comment, I said, well, look, it's to the, as far as the government that's in at the moment is concerned, for them to give a deduction for transportation during work is an incentive to the company. It's an investment as far as they're concerned, because they rip off their tax from the company at the end of the financial year. Anything they can do to boost the profits of a company, they'll do. And that's why it's done. It's one of their many ways of fostering company profits. Whereas as far as the individual person's concerned, going to and from work, they couldn't give a continental.
That's right.
You know, if you live 50 miles from work, well, that's your tough luck,
and
Charlie.
If you're late in the morning, you're in the wrong.
Whereas possibly if the other mob were back in power again, the bias would be considerably shifted. And it would include possibly transportation to and from work, or else, if not that, they'd possibly remove the company incentives or something like that.
Well, I've been looking at these things. Now, look at Medibank, for an example.
Hang on, we don't want to get onto that topic. I was just quoting that as what I was saying to Beck.
No, but I was...
And the Beck threw a mental.
Yeah.
He sort of said, oh, I don't know about that. I can show you an example which says that such and such. You know, he thought I was having a go at the Libs. And saying that, you know, capitalists are bad, or capitalism's bad or something.
Yeah, I can see the point.
Threw a mental and said he wasn't going to discuss the subject, this, that and the other. And all I'd been trying to do was give a concrete possible pair of reasons for...
why things are the way they are.
Why things are the way they were. But if you discuss politics, if you even look like beginning a discussion on politics with some people, they just throw a complete mental.
I know.
They can't agree to disagree, sort of thing. Like, I mean, okay, Beck's ideas and my ideas tend to be, as far as I can work out at the moment, completely opposite.
You probably find mine are opposite to the Beck as well.
He won't allow discussion to start up.
I don't know why
he gets all upset.
I don't know why people get all het up and upset and hush.
Well, they're the most fruitful discussions. Because it's no use discussing something with a person that thinks the same way you do and something like that, because you never learn really that much. It's very satisfying from the point of view of finding out that the person's got the same ideas, but you don't learn much.
No.
You know, the really good discussions that I used to have around uni, wasting a lot of time in first year especially, were with people who had other ideas. The Beck's got this thing about politics. Throws a mental and rolls around the room several times and turns his rig off. I don't know. I don't know whether that's an indication of somebody with a closed mind or what.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there's a friend of mine who, he's in Young Libs. He's definitely fairly, I suppose he's relatively right, really. You know, right. He's all for that party.
Right, McCartney.
But the thing is, if he meets someone else who's left, or even communist, or something like that, he doesn't throw a mental. He'll discuss it with them, and everything. Whereas there's another person I know who's right, and if you discuss anything other than right, he throws a mental, and he won't talk anymore to you.
Yeah, people get a bit like that with politics, like they think you're attacking them personally. It's taken very personally if you attack somebody's, in some cases, if you attack somebody's personal beliefs. Like, for some reason or other around uni, that doesn't happen at all.
Well, I suppose
it's always taken in good spirit, and some really rip-roaring debates get going. In many cases, when you start talking about these things with people outside of this intellectual or pseudo-intellectual environment, as you say, or as I said, metals get thrown.
Mm.
People must feel terribly insecure in their ideas or something. Like around uni, everyone's one for one and all for all and this sort of thing, regardless of what your beliefs are. There's a very big feeling of oneness.
Mm.
It must be a feeling of insecurity in the other situations if you start attacking people's thing, which is a bit of a pity, because boy, you can get some really fantastic arguments going even if you just take the opposite side just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's a bit left-wing, so you could start getting stuck into left-wing ideals.
And say how bad they are
Say
for
how
all these
terrible
different
they are.
reasons.
Yeah, because you can think of dozens of reasons why they're bad. Because, I mean, neither side is the panacea.
Well, I often
Really?
think I often think to some extent, I don't really know how much difference the label on the government party does actually make.
That's right. Because the system is so
bad.
it's been going for so many years that to try and change it, it's like trying to move a ship off its course by swimming along beside it and giving it a push.
That's about it. That's about the magnitude of the...
I mean, Labor fell into that trap to a large extent. Like, they applied an enormous amount of force, which didn't really move the ship off its course, but it got a lot of people on the ship very upset.
It made the ship rock a bit, and a few people fell over and got twisted ankles, and
Yeah, that's all
they
it did. It
started
just
jumping
rocked
up and
it.
down.
It rocked it, and all the people on the ship that had been...
And it was really terrible in the ship's dining room when the tables fell over and all the dinner fell on the floor, and everybody's coffee got spilled on their laps.
Yeah, a lot of people were sick.
Back into their dinner plate. All because this force tried to change the course of the ship, and it went through turbulence, and all the coffee tables fell over. That's what I was saying. Well, one comment I was going to throw in, before when we were talking about work, actually I suppose it's a bit disjointed with what we're on at the moment, but this, a certain friend of mine actually went so far as to say, why couldn't the government lend you $500,000 or something? You put that in the bank, you live off the interest, then when you die, you give the $500,000 back to the government. He was saying when the machines...
That's not as silly as it sounds, actually.
Look, he was saying when the machines take over, there's going to be no jobs for anybody, and some system like that may, in actual fact, have to be implemented. In the robot era, that we keep hearing about, if it ever does come, and probably we'll get pretty close to it eventually, machines that can do everything a person can do and much better.
It's certainly it's a bit paradoxical that the time when you're best able to make good use of money is when you're, say, between the age of about 18 and 30. That's when your imagination tends to be at its peak. Your activity in general tends to be at its peak. And you can really appreciate it and really make use of it.
And then you're supposed to be put in a stupid 9-to-5 job, so where do we get? Nowhere.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, what sort of has to happen in reality is that you have to go and work at a 9-to-5 job and save and all the rest of it, and possibly by the time you're about 50 or 60 you've got a good little nest egg put away. You've possibly got enough then to enjoy it, to really enjoy life, and yet your mind's sort of
yes,
gone, and
nearly said it.
You
right. Back to what we were saying, your mind's sort of gone.
You can't really make best use of it.
No. I noticed that the branch is obviously killing himself laughing because of what's going on, because the mic keeps turning on and off. But anyway,
it's not very good at all when that happened.
No. I know I'm falling into the rut of having to turn the mic off too.
I'm just rolling a fag now anyway, stand by.
Right. Well, this is the thing, because you're sort of in the situation where at the time in your life when you should be using your imagination and all that, you've got to slog it out in this stupid job, and then you turn 65. That's if you live that long, which is, to me, it all looks rather dubious whether I'll live that long with the world the way it is at the moment. So-called, when you turn 65, you're free and you can do what you like. But
For all of 3 years.
for all
or
the 3
something.
years before you drop dead.
Yeah.
So the other possibility we discussed was, wouldn't it be so good if you could retire first? So you know, if you're going to have to do your schooling, you finish your schooling, then you retire, and you somehow, you know, when you feel that you're ready to start working, you work for 3 years before you drop
Earn all the money that they gave you.
at the end of your life. And well, if you drop dead, well, that's just too bad. And, you just enjoy your life and live your life and work for however many years you can.
That's right.
After you've had your life, when you're no good for anything, which is all highly unrealistic and everything. But
I had all these fantastic ideas between the age of about 14, about 19, say.
the same thing happened to
I
me.
had as many ideas in that period of time as I've had since, really.
Look, this is
And
what happened
some
to
of them
me.
was just so way out, but they would have been so good to have, like building a big underground, triple-storey underground room out the back with studios in one block and a sound listening room in another block.
This is the thing.
Things like this, and an 80-foot tower and a 5 kilowatt, silver-proof transmitter system. And
with special plating so it doesn't tarnish.
I was going to have a railway line between here and East Malvern under the ground, my own private railway line,
What's in East Malvern?
my grandmother's place. So that when I wanted to commute from here to there, I'd just get in this little electric train,
somewhat like the one in the
which
tunnel.
ran on about a 150 volt DC rail or something. Just jump in that, whip up to about 80 or 100 miles an hour in this tube system, and burn up to there. And other people could have other systems which connect up to mine.
You could commute
So
with friends,
you could have one going across to your place. Same sort of thing. This
which
little.
would go at about 500 miles an hour, so you get across very quickly.
Oh no, you don't have to go that fast. You want to enjoy the trip. You have all these tunnels linking various people's places all around Melbourne and so on, and out into the country even. And just idea after idea after idea. I was going to have my own Luna Park with a Big Dipper that was far better than the Big Dipper that's down on that one.
Well, this is the thing. I used to think
And,
of things like that when I was
if I'd
young.
well, probably to do all the things I wanted to do, I would have had to have had several hundreds of millions of dollars.
And so, due to this horrible thing known as money, you can't apply your imagination quite to the extent you'd like to.
Which is all totally impractical, but I mean, it's the sort of thing, if there's any way of making it possible, I don't know.
Imagine if people could all do that.
You know, if you're somebody like that guy that owns Playboy or something, he's got all that money, but he's about 47 or something.
I think he's got his own aeroplane and everything.
Yeah. You know, you're usually getting on a bit by the time you earn all that money, even if you do manage to make all that money, you're getting on a bit. The real part of your life where you can really take things in, to take things in to that extent and appreciate them to the same extent later on,
Well, this is the
you've really
thing.
got to go and mow the lawn.
That's right, because by the time you've passed your retiring age, you've just about had enough of everything, probably, or some people have. Your mind sort of probably isn't working as smoothly as it was 40 years earlier.
That's right. Your whole sensitivity dies away, sort of fairly, well, not completely linearly. I think it dies away pretty quickly towards the end once you... Hello? Oh, that must be the stew.
Can he come up on 2?
Not that conveniently.
What a pity.
I'll just tune off to one side. Come up to one side, Stu. On the high side. Hang on, which one am I on? Who's that? Hang on, which one am I on? Who's that?
That's me.
Right, stand by.
Oh, g'day, Branch.
Good evening.
couple of points.
Yes.
Not the least of the fact you've completely stuffed up my evening.
Why?
Well, I've been listening to this for about
Bilge.
the last 4 hours or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, a couple of things. It has been one of the best cross bands I've heard.
Has it?
Yeah, particularly for instance, that sort of some points here were stated that were really quite to the point.
Why we stuffed up your evening? What were you going to do?
Well, I'll end up not getting up till lunchtime or something.
Oh, oh yes.
Anyway, it's been exceptionally good.
Oh, that's good to hear.
There's been some really on-the-spot contentious material. Now, you were talking about the Beck having a spew about lytic omissions.
Yes.
Now, there's one thing I'll agree with you on, and that is the Beck is a bit shallow.
I wasn't saying he was shallow.
When you get into deep subjects.
Yeah.
But that's not the point.
Yeah.
But I have spoken to him on length about these things.
Yeah.
And the main thing he's having a spew about, and the main thing I have spews about,
Yes.
is that you come on and knock the system and all this sort of jazz.
Yes.
Now, it may not necessarily be you. Now, take it, just getting things in line. The universities are full of people who are going along there, being subsidised by the public, and all they do
is knock the system.
Is knock the system. And there's people who, as you say, work 9 till 5.
In a way, though, that's why people send them there.
Not when they don't allow free speech, because you said that people at university, it's an all free speech, all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's about the only place where people who want to say something often don't get allowed to say things. Like I was there with aunties when Fraser was going to do a speech, and they just kept making such a noise.
Yeah, that's sort of unusual, actually.
It's not unusual.
Outsiders,
the other day at Melbourne Uni.
I was going to say, sometimes outsiders won't be allowed to get a say. Hang on, let's check the log tape. You keep going.
But it's his darn university as much as anybody else's.
Oh, he's done nothing towards it. Hang on, just lost my headphones.
It's just the system that
Andrew, what were you saying?
Everybody is knocking it now.
Headphones unplugged themselves.
Without sounding too high and mighty or something, there's just all these people who don't work and are subsidised, and people get a bit sick of it.
Yeah, well, most of the people at university are going to be working, though. I mean, it's just
by the time they're about 35.
No, it's just usually for the majority, it's just a 4-year stint.
Ah, yes.
For most of them. No, it is. You can look at the statistics.
Is it? Oh, that's most interesting.
But didn't you know that? Most courses are only 3 or 4 years, one or the other.
Ah, yes. Just out of the people that I know, most tend to spend quite a lot longer at university.
Make it quick, because the log tape is about to run out. Literally. The second one, mind you.
But that's the main point. Oh, stop it, because I can always say this again. Stop it, let the egg come on the log.
No, it's all right. We've sort of discussed everything anyway. We'll sort of round it off tape.
That's the main situation, you see. Now, I've been lying in bed, and I wasn't going to open my mouth on all the other subjects, because I agreed mostly of what you said, particularly this role-playing with the way the whole society is built up and things like that.
Yeah. But that's always been the way, but universities have always knocked the establishment, and the establishment not only has to tolerate it, but it usually likes it. Like, it likes people to be... If young people aren't questioning... Thank you. And that's where the log tape ran out. We ended up recording onto the white leader. Oh, what am I talking about? We just lost the egg, the stew, apparently.
What a pity. I might put that direct so I can understand myself. I only wish...
That was a drag running out at that point.
Look, well, maybe it isn't, because you know what happened about a minute later.
Is it the back under you or something? No, it's just the front end having a fit.
Yeah. But that bit where the pings came.
Oh, yes.
And I got really spewed and I said something. It was retaining. But it's amazing. Is the knock still there?
Yeah.
Oh, did I knock?
Yeah.
What have you been doing while that replay's on?
Oh, not much actually. We've been listening to the replay because I haven't heard. I went to Stacey Bobo's about I went in the Land of Nod
When
Oh,
you're
yeah.
listening to the original,
About
that is.
original, that is, about halfway through. So
Those
this
Bobos.
is the first time I've heard the second half of that program.
Oops.
Program.
Oops.
One of the best ones I've heard.
Oh,
Front
hang
end
on.
is off taking.
Sorry, I can stop that.
It's one of the best ones I've heard. Like something considerably this time. I haven't heard myself when I do these things. Is that what they sound like? Oh, how pathetic.
When he gets nervous. It sounds like going, oh, when he gets nervous.
You mean we don't talk about because he's a complete T features?
Anyway, what on earth?
I don't know what that is. It's something outside.
Oh. Is it?
What's going on?
You better turn the speaker down a bit.
Not to worry.
Pouring out into the room. Into the rest of the house. What's it like now? That's all right.
That's good.
Yep.
Am I coming through loud still?
I've got you patched.
Good. I'll be able to hear what my mission sounds like.
Oh, that's a point, because you'll be logging this still.
Yes. I suppose it's just, well, see, I am logging.
How many tapes did you have to go through?
Well, I've got about, I'm almost finished the third side of an hour a side, so that's almost 3 hours of wasted time.
That's about it. I wonder if the Beck heard those knocks.
Beck.
I know, he didn't hear the early knocks, because you two are still talking.
No, I have to play them back to him, and he's going to Sydney tomorrow.
Yeah,
Poor Beck.
yeah. Of all the places to have to go, it'd be about the worst in the country.
Sydney, it's good to see. It's a very picturesque city.
Very Americanised.
Yeah, very capitalistic.
Very what?
Capitalistic.
Very capital. Oh, that probably explains it. Yeah.
You won't speak about that because Beck would like to go there.
He might.
Where would you like to go? What's very uncapitalistic here?
I'd like to go and see the States, I think.
What state of what?
The States.
Oh, yes.
Now that sounds interesting, the States. We'll have to get you
United
talking.
States of the Soviet Republic.
Yes. Well, you'll be able to speak to Lionel about China. That'd be most interesting.
At
I
least
hope he doesn't trip off and try and find any Chinese amateurs.
He's come back.
he's back.
Oh.
He came back.
He did. Amazing, but he did.
They let him out.
They let him out. They said, "Mr. Lionel, you're a what do we used to call him?"
Well, while he was over there, he probably had a new call sign. Therefore, what are their call signs over there?
I don't think they allow them.
Have any?
Oh, that's right. You're not allowed to be an amateur over there.
No.
They only allow pros.
Pros. You can be a pro and have a jamming station.
Megawatt jamming
There's
stations.
people come up the street and say, "Well, that's my face." There's somebody microphone and go, "No."
You're going to lose teeth doing that.
I've lost 3 already.
Oh. We've got an interesting thing that you might like to hear, but you mightn't like us to put it on.
Ooh, what is it?
Oh, stand by. I've got to repatch. Let it rip.
You could always put it on 2 meters.
Oh, I could, I suppose. Hang on.
This is when I was speaking to the back one.
Yes.
There's the one at Caulfield Station. There's the other one. There's one. Get the missions off the air! And then of course there used to be one at Point Street, which I don't know.
I don't think the stew wants us to go on here.
Actually, I couldn't care less because it was a good mission.
It was quite interesting, actually.
It was. Just so typical.
You can put it on pause again.
That was me. You never know who's listening, do you?
Eh?
You never know who's listening.
No, that's
Not too
right.
many people at this time. You
No,
know?
we thought you were going to comment on the knocks and the contact, you see. So we're going to record your comments on the knocks.
How did you call that in the kilt?
Yeah. But it turned out to be quite an interesting contact.
Well, it's most interesting.
Put you back on.
Did you speak? Have you had any more trouble on the Bitty Man with getting into Channel 2 Peters?
No, I just took the lid off.
When the lid's off, it's okay.
Yeah. It's a really good machine, that one.
Which one's this?
That's the Hepburn Jenkins.
Phone.
Yeah. The Les phone. I wonder why it does that.
Have you got the other phone there?
Yeah, yeah,
the small phone.
yeah.
So you've got the 6 phone, the Les phone, and the small phone.
Okay, I'm receiving you on the 6A at the moment.
The 5 phone.
Yes.
Well, that's...
Interesting.
It is too. Last weekend that going... Because even the knock rang up to join in there.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
That would have been...
Did you help put the rig off the air, did you?
No,
Oh,
I was gone by then.
oh, yeah.
That was hilarious. That can you imagine people listening all over the world? You hear this competition.
You didn't finish it off though. No word came out at the end.
No, you were a bit disorganised.
You just made the noise. You're
Yeah.
supposed to go. It's interesting.
That's
Everyone got so carried away with the O for about 25 seconds or something. No, it was more like about a minute. They forgot to put the interesting on the end of it.
It was certainly the most silly missions.
I'm not fully quieting on low power at your place.
Yeah, when the front end's behaving itself, you are.
It was amazing when it was doing the meter, the VU meter on the limiter on the mixer was just pinned. The limiting had gone off scale and was out of control. The bar line meter was just bashed. The modulation meter on the mod monitor was pinned to one side, and the over mod light was just flashing continuously, and the carrier had gone down 50% because of all the extra power in the distorted sideband. And all the street lights went out, and the log tape at that instant is slower than normal because of the drain on the SEC supply, which is already depleted because of the lack of maintenance. Oh no, those knocks on maintenance be corded. Most disgusting. So it's really quite tame.
No, that's quite an interesting contact, because probably most people who listen in on 160 wouldn't have heard you and the Beck Simplex.
No.
And that's you and the Beck Simplex
What happens
for about an hour.
That's good, because you could put on and say, this is what the Beck and the Stew talk about when they're not getting ratings.
Yeah, well, we could do that, actually.
And it's usually better, apart from the fact it sounds like a telephone, it's good because we're both going, well, that's... Actually, we weren't.
No, you weren't. It was pretty straight.
It was straight.
Yeah, we just started when you were halfway through talking about trains. Hang on, we'll have another listen.
Oh, well, this is most uninteresting. I mean,
Hang on. Hello, it's gone.
it's gone again.
Oh, that must have been where we lost audio or something. Can't hear a thing. There's something there. There's hiss.
Yes.
There's a roaring noise. Oh, that was when the 6A was doing funny things, I think. Hang on.
You've got bad seaters.
Yeah, we fixed it up.
Put the proper valves back in.
Actually, the first 20 or 30 minutes you were pretty noisy, and then I found I could make you full quieting by retuning. So unfortunately, this is a replay this time.
And it went for super rev missions. Now, you know how most of the red trains, half the lights in the carriages are off. You either get every second...